from the prairie to the Rocky Mountain crest.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the second episode of the Be-Cuzz Podcast.
Today's episode is all about Edmonton. Everything about Edmonton.
That we know of.
I mean, to be fair, we do know a lot about Edmonton.
Yeah, I would say so. Anyways, I'm Hailey.
And I'm Eric.
And today we have with us...
our creative director. Yeah, we just made that up. Allison Williams is with us today. She is Edmonton Ann on TikTok. You should go check her out. She's really funny.
And she knows a lot about Edmonton.
She knows a lot about Edmonton. So she's going to be kind of our fact checker to make sure we are saying true things and not lying to you, and to keep us on track because we get off track so much.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, what's the first thing we want to talk about?
I think we should start with the beginnings of Edmonton, going all the way back to the foundation, when it was formed, when it was founded, and it was originally called Fort Edmonton. And in the River Valley, there's now a park called Fort Edmonton, and it's the largest living history museum in Canada.
Wasn't the river used, like, because it was a trade?
Yeah,
like
for fur trading, they'd use the river. Fort Edmonton, it's like, if you live in Calgary, it's kind of the same thing as Heritage Park, except bigger and better.
I don't know, I really liked Heritage Park.
Heritage Park is cool, but they have this new, in Fort Ed, they have this new movie theater thing, where it's like this cool, like, I don't know, multimedia presentation of...
I haven't been there, honestly,
the history of Edmonton.
since I've gotten older. Like, I went when I was
fun.
young, so it was still really cool. So
Yeah.
I liked it.
And then this year it was actually closed because they're adding this whole, like, Indigenous First Nations exhibit thing, which I'm excited to go to when it first opens, because
When is it supposed to open?
I think next summer, because they're working... It was closed this summer.
Yeah.
Not even due to the pandemic, because they're renovating.
That'll be cool, actually.
Yeah.
I would love to go to that.
Yeah. Really fun stuff. And Fort Ed is in the River Valley, and another one of Edmonton's, famous attractions is in the River Valley. It's called the Mutart Conservatory, and it's 4 pyramids, like glass pyramids, it's like a greenhouse.
Yeah.
They have plants and...
Aren't each of them different places?
Yeah, so each pyramid is a different biome, I guess. So there's a desert one where there's a bunch of cactus and like succulent plants, and then there's a rainforesty one. Like,
I love that one.
Where there's it's so humid in there and it feels so nice.
Your hair gets so frizzy though,
like,
when you go
once
there.
once it's minus 40 in the wintertime here, going into that pyramid is so nice.
It's worth it. In the summer, it's not as.
It's a little much.
Yeah.
But and then there's one more. Desert, tropical.
Ooh. And there's like temperate.
Yeah.
So temperate's interesting. I don't know. That's one I kind of skip because it's not as fun.
I feel like that one's
because we live in a temperate environment.
Yeah.
Edmonton.
That one isn't as fun. But don't they have like birds that fly in there?
Not
and
anymore.
Stuff? Aww.
When we were kids, when I was a kid anyway, they used to have like birds and ducks inside.
Yeah.
But there's a
They don't
pond.
have any animals
There's
in
a
there.
pond with some fish in it in the temperate pyramid.
Which is fun, but I liked when there was birds
Yeah.
inside and stuff. It just felt more real.
And then the 4th pyramid is the show pyramid, where they have different displays. So every Christmas there's a poinsettia display.
Oh, I love that.
Like thousands of poinsettias, and I think they do a tulip one every year. I remember there was one tulip exhibit that I went to, and it was really nice. It smelled really good.
Man, I haven't been there in years either. I need to start going places again. Like, seriously.
For school, for my horticulture class, we went to the Mutart, and we actually got to go behind the scenes, and there's this like secret underground tunnel that goes to the prep.
I've always kind of wondered if there was something like that.
So there's a not secret, but like this underground tunnel that goes to the prep greenhouses where they grow and take care of the plants. So then they grow the plants in those prep greenhouses and then move them into the big show pyramids. And so we got to go into the prep greenhouses where they grow the plants, and they actually have a whole orchid collection.
Oh,
so the Orchid
sick.
Society has their little section in there, and so we got to meet them.
Those are the best.
And it was really nice. it was really interesting. I just like the secret tunnel.
Yeah, I love secret tunnels.
They're
That's
fun.
the favorite, like the best thing ever. Another thing is we always have lots of festivals here.
We do have festivals. We're known as Canada's Festival City, according to a website that we just Googled.
I'm like, really? Are we? Out
Are
of
we?
all the cool cities in this country, I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I mean, there is always something going
always-
on. There's
especially
always
in the
something to do
summertime.
with, yeah, and there's always something about food.
Yes.
Always stuff that revolves around food.
Food.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say actually, like the farmers markets are so good too.
The farmers market downtown is so much fun to go to in the summer because there's a lot of like cute little restaurants.
But they changed it though.
They
Now it's
did.
indoor. It's not as cool.
Oh, I liked
Yeah.
it when it was outdoor and it was like
Yeah.
people,
And you can
music.
see it was not far from Rogers Place.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't far. I
It
think
was,
you
like,
could
right
see
there.
Rogers from
Yeah.
the-
Okay, the Fringe is off White Ave, but also they have different locations to go to see performances.
because there's a whole bunch of different like theaters around White Ave.
Yeah. And then there's multiple vendors there. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Mm-hmm. And there's always the radio station people there too.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Fringe? Like, have you ever like bought tickets and gone to Fringe?
I like probably back when I was 16. That's the last time I remember going to a show. I've done the outside shows where there are
Right.
all the performances and stuff that are free, but I haven't been to an actual production that you paid for in a long time.
Yeah. I've never gone just because it's very out of the way from where I live.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it
my
seems
mom works
interesting.
there right off White
Yeah.
Ave, so it's a little bit easier.
I just go for the food.
Allison just goes for the food.
The
I
food
work
is the best
there.
part. And the root beer.
The root beer. There's root beer?
Yeah, there's a root
Can't wait to
beer
go when it
person
reopens.
that goes there. I don't know. It's like a giant
I love
thing.
root beer so much. If you
Yeah.
didn't know. I'm a sucker for root beer.
that and cream soda.
Oh, so good.
Amazing. And then Folk Fest, I've been multiple times.
I want to go so bad.
It's so much fun. There's like tents with multiple things that you can do. You can buy stuff. There's art. And you discover a lot of bands that you didn't know of, but then there will be like, there's Noah and the Whale. They went one year and they're really good. My friend Erica would always take me.
Yeah,
So
she
much
seems like the
fun.
person. She's very folky.
Yeah, well, her dad always goes.
Right.
So he always buys the tickets and stuff, and then she gets to bring a friend. So usually I go one of the days. So
And it's a very like Edmonton thing is Folk Fest because
everyone knows
everybody
about it.
knows what it is. Like so many people go. It's so popular.
Yeah.
Except for me, I haven't been yet.
I can't believe you haven't.
I'm surprised
that's
too.
wild.
Because it's like,
And the food there is so good.
of course the food is good.
Yeah. That's one of the main focuses is food. At
Yeah.
every single one of these festivals is you find some of the best food ever.
Yeah. Also on the food tangent, K-Days is a huge food event.
Oh yeah.
Because as soon as you walk in, there's food vendors and those big, like, what do you call them? They're like trailers.
Oh.
You know, like the trailers that serve food
Yeah.
and stuff. And then there's whole halls in the expo center that are
Yeah.
filled with food stalls.
My issue with K-Days is how expensive it is.
It is ridiculous.
Because you have to pay a cover fee just to get in there.
Yeah, you have to pay $25 to get in, just to get in the gates. And if you want to go on rides, that's extra for the tickets. So I went last summer with a few friends. So I paid $20 to get in, and then I paid $80 for an all-day ride pass.
And then
It
you
was-
have to buy food.
And then you have to buy food. It was so not worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really exhausting, but again, it doesn't feel, you're like, the end of the
don't-
day, you're so much poorer. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, cool.
It's almost, I don't know, it's not worth it in my opinion. Go to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
The shows are, from what I haven't been, but from what I've heard, the shows are quite...
Yeah, they get a
They're
lot of
worth
cool
the money.
artists. I remember Mariana's Trench went there.
Mariana Strange.
Yeah.
Last summer, Aqua came and performed.
Didn't Ace of Base come too?
Oh, probably.
Yeah. There was somebody else, but I can't think of. But a lot of famous people come. It's a fun show.
Yeah.
I haven't really been to the shows, though.
I think next summer, when Corona is gone,
If
I
COVID
think
calms down.
I want to go to some shows. I think it'll be fun. But the rides, $80 for all-day rides, not worth it. Because it was so busy, you have to wait in line for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all spinny rides, which I can do a few spinny
I like
rides.
the Polar one. The Polar
Polar
Express.
Express?
Yeah, I love that one.
That was so rough. It gave me... And they blast the super loud music with the crappy
Yeah.
speakers, and it's all like...
But at the end of the day,
Terrible
it's like you
sounding.
can just go to Galaxyland
And it's way cheaper.
yeah. And you're like, well, and it's all year, so.
There is one ride that I absolutely loved, and I think it was called like the Drop of Doom or something. And
I hate drop rides. I hate being scared.
it was terrifying. Because I've been on the Tower of Terror in Disney World a few times. That's my favorite ride. And I've never, like, been scared for my life, because I know it's Disney. They have safety precautions. And
Well, yeah.
yeah. But traveling fairs, you know, you hear of those accidents. You know, it happens.
There's that shooting ride, the cable,
slingshot.
yeah,
and the
slingshot.
cables, yeah.
They can break. It's crazy.
And so
You have to sign a waiver for that one, I think.
Yeah, you do.
It's so crazy.
And so this drop ride is basically this tower that lifts you up and you drop. It sounds simple, and I was like, you know, I've been on the Tower of Terror. This isn't as tall as the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. And so my friend did not want to go. And so I don't know how we convinced him.
I'm like, you just went by yourself.
No, we convinced him somehow to go on, but he was terrified. Like, he was white, pale, and shaking, even just in the line.
That would have been me.
So funny. I was laughing really hard. Sorry, Jacob.
I'm always that person, though. Before, like, a roller coaster or something, I'll cry, and people have
it's
to
so
calm
much
me
fun.
down.
But it's worth it, in my opinion.
I just kind of block it out. I'm not a very good person when it comes to rides, unless it's the swings. I love the swings.
At Galaxyland?
Yeah, those ones are...
make me
I
sick.
remember I think it was at K-Days. They have the one that
No, they
lifts
do have
up and down.
swings.
But they have the one that goes up and down while you're on the swings. I'm pretty sure it was there. Or it tilts.
Yeah.
It tilts, yeah. That's the one. I love that one.
But like with the drop ride, we got on, and I was like, okay, this is kind of sketch, because there's like grease dripping from the bottom, and it's like
that freaked me out.
so like you could tell it wasn't maintained well, and so I was like, okay, I've done the Tower of Terror. I've done
like,
done
"I can
drop
do
rides
this, I
before.
got
I've done the
this."
space shot at Galaxyland tons of times, so I can do it. I wasn't really scared until we started, like, the carriage thing started going up slowly, and I was like, this is way taller than I thought it was. And it was out because it's outside, so
It doesn't seem as big, right?
yeah, it doesn't seem as big on the ground, but when you're up high and it's outside, you can see for miles around you.
Oh, man.
And it was kind of a windy day, so as we were going up, like, you could feel the tower kind of like shaking in the wind a little bit. And I was like, so panicky. Like, I've never been that way
You're like,
before.
I regret this so much.
And I've never been scared like that on rides, because it was so sketchy. And then we go all the way up at the top, and it just stays at the top for a few seconds.
I'm already
taunting you,
anxious just thinking
and my
about
friend
it.
is freaking out, like he's screaming and swearing at the top of his lungs.
Sometimes you have to just to prepare yourself.
And
That's what I
then-
would do.
Then there's this loud clink, and the carriage dropped, and I've never been terrified in my life. I screamed so loud, and because I could see the
I'm
ground
like
coming
scared
closer
just
and
thinking
closer.
about it.
The brake section is so short on the tower that
Yeah.
you think you're gonna hit the ground, but you don't.
Oh, I hate that.
And I came off of that ride. I sat down for like 15 minutes in silence, just recovering from it.
You're like sipping on some
was
tea.
like,
You're just like, this was rough, and they have a blanket wrapped around
It
you.
was like me and my friends, we had to sit out for a while because it was
I
terrifying.
can't handle those kind of
It
rides
was
at
so
all.
scary. So some other festivals that we have in Edmonton are Heritage Fest and Taste of Edmonton. I haven't been to any of those, unfortunately.
I've only been to Taste of Edmonton, like I walked through it and got
Right.
one thing. I didn't actually get to experience it.
Again, they're expensive and nowhere near where I live. And
Yeah, it's all downtown.
It's
We
all
live so
downtown.
south. There's Sonic Boom. I don't know if they still do that though.
I don't know either, but I know a few years ago they were still doing it. And Sonic Boom is run by this radio station called Sonic, obviously. It's like this
1029.
1029.
It used to be cool back when I
Used to be
was in
cool.
elementary. They started in a trailer or something.
Really?
It was a really small, simple station, and it was really cool. Now they just play the same stuff as
Everybody
all
else.
the pop stations do.
But yeah, Sonic ran it, and it was like this kind of alternative music fest. And I can't remember, it must have been 2 years ago, maybe even 3. They had this thing where if you did community service, I don't know how many hours, but X amount of hours of community service, you got to go in for free.
Oh.
And so I was like, I do kids camps all summer. And like I think it was
Yeah.
10 hours of community service, and you know the kids camp, kids power
Yeah.
up. That's way more than 10
I
hours.
use that as a community service thing too.
Oh yeah.
When I got a ticket for not having my bus pass, so they just did that. So the kids power up helped me out because I was
Yeah.
already volunteering. For
Yeah.
that.
And I can't remember why, but the kids power up, the kids camp that I volunteer at, didn't count as community service.
Why?
I can't remember why.
Is it because of your dad?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I can't. It
Because
just
I had
didn't
to
qualify.
I had to get someone else to sign my
my
things because Uncle Mark couldn't because he's family.
Right.
So.
But I can't remember why, and so it didn't count. So we couldn't go to Sonic Boom for free.
It had to be probably something that they knew of more.
Yeah, I
Like
think
the soup kitchen or something.
like Hope
right?
Mission downtown or
Yeah.
something. But me and my friends were a little chapped about that because
I'd be
we were
very chapped.
we were so excited, doing the camp, and
Oh,
we were all
man,
talking
I'd
about
be
it.
so disappointed.
And then we should have checked before we actually started, like, getting excited about it, or, like, called
Yeah.
or emailed or something.
But you just kind of assume because it is a volunteer
thing.
Yeah, you're not getting
But-
paid for it. You're doing something for free for the community.
But Sonic does have my favorite radio DJ host, Lauren Hunter. She's so funny. I follow her on Instagram and on TikTok. I'll send her
Yeah, you'll
TikTok
have
to you.
to.
She's really funny.
I don't
She's
listen
kind
to
of
the
a...
radio anymore.
I don't either, but she's kind of like a... She's like a local celebrity, I guess you would
I
say.
think a lot of the people that like the DJ hosts on radio stations, if they do good enough to promote themselves,
Yeah.
they become quite famous. What's that other one? That guy, he was on the Bounce or something.
Oh, I missed the... Bounce doesn't... They changed their name, and it
Yeah,
sucks now.
but there was that guy that was on it, and I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
I can't
He was
remember his name.
big.
People from Edmonton, you probably know what I'm talking about. I can't think of his name right now, and I remember I had him on Facebook once, and then I deleted
Guy
him.
from the Bounce radio station. Ugh, I can't remember.
It's gonna bother me,
It's gonna bother
but
me
whatever. I just remember he had like a kid with somebody, and I have her on Facebook. Okay, so one thing, because we were talking about how a lot of the festivals are really far. And then there's, like, because we are from the south side.
Yeah.
That is where we've lived the whole time. We've lived here, like, you
Well, I was
here.
born...
But the whole time...
I was born on the north side.
Were you born at the Royal Alex?
Yeah.
That's where I had both my kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
north side,
Yeah.
but live in the south side.
That's so funny. I'm the only one in my family not born in Alberta.
Right, you're born in Abbotsford.
Yeah, but I'm the only... My sister was born in Calgary.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
and my
that-
mom was born in Edmonton and was adopted here. Yeah. But that's the funny thing about it. And then I had both my kids at the Royal Alex
Yeah.
with a midwife, though. I would have
Oh.
delivered at like the Grey Nuns, but they didn't at the time. They didn't allow midwives.
Mm.
But yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So you're a North Side born
I'm
baby.
a north side born
Actually,
baby.
a lot of people I know were born there.
Yeah.
Like my ex was born there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I think that they probably have a huge, like, birth ward or something there.
I don't even like it. I don't like the
It's
nurses
so-
there.
It's so old.
The
and
lowest
gross.
hole is now it's like the women's
The lo-
center. It's
Oh,
called the
yeah,
lowest
yeah,
hole, so it's
yeah.
a part of the Royal Alex. It has all sorts of things there. There's a gynecologist. There's the birth and labor delivery ward. I did not like the nurses there. They were so
that's
mean.
too bad.
Because I was like freaking out, obviously. My labor was so fast and they were like getting mad at me. I'm like, my baby was already coming out. I'm like, you guys are mean. Thank goodness I have a midwife though. They're the best. But like I was saying is the whole north versus south side.
Versus south. It's just kind of like this fun little thing. It's kind of like Edmonton versus Calgary. It's just kind of this fun little
But
beef.
it's like with our own
But it's
city.
with our own city.
Yeah. A lot, like you always hear people talk about kill hoods.
Kill hoods, mill hoods.
Yeah.
Though where we live, Millwoods is this little. It's what is it? Southeast.
Yes.
It's the southeast corner of the city, and
But it kind of goes, because there's technically a southwest of Millwoods,
yeah,
because it's big enough to be its own city.
yeah. Millwoods is really interesting because it's this big kind of area of the city that has its own ring road and its own downtown.
And there's
kind of thing.
multiple neighborhoods within Millwoods.
Within Millwoods. So
Yeah.
in the center of Millwoods, there's this mall that's super dumpy and
You know, there's all the food places there in that area right by You get all the restaurants and stuff. Well, all the fast food restaurants.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mini downtown in southeast Edmonton.
It's
very
super
sad
weird.
One. Very sad.
It has a main transit.
Yeah,
ETS
the LRT
station,
is going right to the center.
Yeah.
To Millwoods Town Center. But a lot of people call Millwoods Millhoods, which
I hear kill hoods all the time.
Yeah, which I get because there are shady parts of Millwoods, like a city. Like there's shady parts of a city. Mm-hmm. There's shady parts of Millwoods. I personally
would say because Northside is older, that I find it's way scarier.
Just because it's older.
Well, yeah, because I find there's way more newer areas over here and it keeps expanding.
Right.
And the northern part of Millwoods is a little bit like the older parts of it is more of the ghetto part that has more of the scary things that happen. Obviously, when you go into a neighborhood, even the rich neighborhoods, there'll be some shooting thing
something
happening.
will happen.
Yeah, you cannot avoid that in a city at all.
You can't.
But I don't think I could ever live Northside.
I don't know if I could either.
I just feel like that doesn't.
Clearview.
Oh man,
Clearview, Northside of Edmonton.
I feel like just saying you're from
sketchy.
Northside feels weird. Be like, oh yeah, I live Northside. That just feels weird. It feels wrong.
It does.
It just doesn't sound right.
Like, my area that I live in,
which I lived there
too.
Yeah,
she lived next door for a very long time.
Our parents are neighbors, and they're related. They're brother and sister.
When I tell people my neighbor is my aunt, they're like, what?
Usually people think they're like, oh, because they're close, like they're close friends.
So
I'm like, no, my parents bought a house next door to my mom's brother.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's actually what happened.
And like the funny thing is they didn't really get along when they were kids.
Oh, when they're kids. Siblings don't get along, especially brother and sisters that are right by each other's age.
Yeah.
And they had there's 4 of them. Of course they're gonna hate each other. There's a phase where me and my sister hated each other.
Yeah, everybody goes through it. But like the area that I live in, it's not sketchy, but it's older and like lower middle class.
Yeah. A lot of people own their houses here though.
Yes.
Because if there's more rental, which is where I live, because there's a few apartments, it's all duplexes and stuff. There are the nicer, bigger houses right before mine, and like they're super nice. You can tell the people that live there have money.
Yeah.
But then you like go right on the road that I am, and there's 3 apartments, and then all the duplexes, and everybody's renting, right? Yeah. So that's where it gets more sketchy is when people aren't owning their homes. Yeah.
And right across the cul-de-sac from my house, our house, like, and your house too, there was, for a few years, it was a rental, and I think it still is a rental, I'm not quite sure, but it was it wasn't a crack house, but it was like a stash house for drugs, because there would be drug deals.
I remember that,
so often.
But didn't we know the original owners of the house? And
we
they were
did,
just
Robbie and what's his face?
So I think they're renting it to those people or something.
Yeah, I don't even know
if they sold it. I think they're just renting
it.
Anyways, that was one.
So there's a whole, like, I don't know, year or two? Year and a half?
It was a couple years, I would say.
Yeah.
There was that red truck, right?
The red truck.
Yeah.
Where there'd be tons of drug deals, like, cars would come in, I don't know, every 10 minutes throughout the night. And then, for some reason, everything went quiet. We didn't know if anybody was living there for a good few months.
Yeah.
And then a family moved in there. They left, and now there's another family in there. And it seems to be all good.
Watch them, like, find a stash in there.
I know. Honestly, there's probably something in the walls.
Or they work with them. They're like, we're a family.
Just to cover.
Yeah. That's smart, I mean. Yeah. Yeah, where I live, I actually witnessed my neighbor getting arrested. So,
wow.
Yeah, that was fun. I don't know exactly what happened, but it was like a month after they moved in.
Wow.
And it was 2 sisters. Oh, I'm so sorry if they like find this. I think it was 2 sisters, and one of them got arrested. That's all I know.
That's all you know.
But I saw the whole thing.
That's entertaining.
Yeah. And I love it. I love when people get arrested. It's so much fun. It's one of my favorite things when, like, someone's getting in trouble.
It's just the drama. So good.
And you just want to know everything. You're like, I hate that I don't know what's happening. But yeah. Other thing.
The stabbing.
The stabbing. Yeah, tell that story.
So, this was when I was in grade 2.
And I was pregnant.
Yeah. It was... A lot was going... Grade 2, man. That was a year.
That was a busy year for me, too.
That was a busy year for me, because I couldn't read.
Oh,
and, like,
you're like me.
So, you need to be able to read when you're in grade 2.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
I couldn't, and so I was...
Wasn't that because of your...
No, that's because I just couldn't read.
I couldn't read till grade 2.
And yeah, anyway.
But I have dyslexia.
Shout out to Miss K, who got me reading.
Is that your grade 2 teacher?
Yeah.
I swear everyone has the best grade 2 teacher, because mine was Mrs. Broad at MCS.
So good.
She was the best. Like, she's the one that helped me learn to read and
And
stuff.
then halfway through the year, Miss K dislocated her shoulder. She's had shoulder issues her entire life, and she dislocated her shoulder, and it was really bad, and she couldn't come back to teaching for the rest of the year. Thankfully, Miss Regan, the substitute, was also fantastic.
Yeah.
So it was really good, it just wasn't the same.
Yeah. Aw,
But Miss K,
Miss K.
love you.
Heart.
Anyway, back to the
Shout
stabbing.
out to Mrs. Broad. Okay.
Back to the stab. Wow.
Okay, but let's clarify this. So at this time in the stabbing, I was a teenager and pregnant. So it was a very entertaining year for our family.
Yeah. I was like illiterate and a child.
And I think my mom was having like heart issues or something, and then
Just so much was going on at that time.
oh
I
yeah,
think it was like 2010. Maybe yeah,
it was 2011.
2011.
It was the spring of 2011
because it was Easter morning.
yeah, and I was super pregnant.
Yeah, it was a Sunday Easter morning. I think
Didn't the cops come
the cops
first?
came first. So I
Yeah.
think the cops were at our door in the middle of the night, or sometime early in the morning, and like shining their flashlight in the front door. My dad answered
So
the door and was
wild.
like, "What's going on?" And the police were like asking questions. And I don't know what about the questions were, but
And we weren't there for that.
we weren't there for that. I was asleep. But then I just remember waking up and my dad saying, "Hey, when we go outside, don't look along the side of our house because somebody got stabbed and there's a lot of blood. And so
to be
don't
fair,
look."
the person did not get stabbed at your house.
No. So there's an apartment building right at the end of our cul-de-sac, and there was a party that went wrong, and there was a stabbing inside the apartment building. So the guy left the apartment building, decided to go into our backyard for some reason, went into our backyard and
hiding.
left. I don't know.
I wonder
think
if he
was
went out
hiding.
the back into the alley or
I
something.
think he was hiding from someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was super sketchy and scary.
Well, he was obviously very intoxicated.
So in beside, like, our house, on the side of our house, there's a sidewalk, and there's blood everywhere.
I remember seeing it.
And there was,
Ugh.
I remember seeing on our front walk the blood splatters. There's a few blood
It was
splatters.
a little bit, and then it was like there was like a pool of blood, wasn't there? at
Yeah,
some
along
point?
the
Yeah.
side of the house. Apparently, I didn't see it. My parents didn't let me
That
see
was when
it.
I was having an aversion to ketchup, so I threw up because of the blood. Because it
looked
looked like ketchup.
ketchup.
Isn't that so like
So weird.
You think that I'd be like, oh, blood? No, it looked like ketchup, so I threw up. It was gross.
And yeah, that was a weird.
I hope that guy's
day.
okay. I don't know if
I don't
you're
think
out
they
there.
ever figured out who it was.
Really?
And the weirdest, kind of most disappointing part was the police made my dad clean it up.
Yeah, why did they do that? That's
Because
so stupid.
they told him, yeah, you have to clean it up. This person may have a bloodborne disease, so don't touch it. Good luck.
Why would they do that? I don't think that's even allowed.
I don't think they could do that anymore.
Yeah.
So my dad got a pressure washer and sprayed the whole thing down with bleach first.
So he had to go out of his way.
He had to go out of his way. He bought a pressure washer and this big can of bleach that had a spray nozzle on it. He sprayed the
Yeah.
whole area with bleach and then pressure washed it off. And
Oh
like,
man, I'd be so
we weren't
mad.
allowed to go along where all the blood was for a few weeks.
Edmonton police, what are you doing?
Not much.
Wow, that's
So that
ridiculous.
was interesting. I don't really remember it that much. Allison, do you remember it? You're older than me. Did you see the blood along the house?
There's like fingerprint on the fence.
There's a finger. I remember that.
And then my mom went to the hospital after. So it was
Yeah.
like, and we had like
That was a chaotic time in our family's life.
2011, man. I
Wow.
mean, 2020 is pretty wild too. So it's just like
Yeah.
for our
Welcome-
family, 2011 was a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
That was
wild,
wild.
actually. That's so funny to.
And then every once in a while, you know, I'll hear a gunshot in the middle of the night.
really.
Very rare.
I
Maybe
haven't-
once or twice a
Oh,
year.
the craziest thing that happened in my area. So, I live in a duplex again. So, we have an alley. So on the other side of the alley is all the owned houses, and then our side's all the duplexes. And there's this guy that was going crazy with his truck, and he kept revving it, and this was at midnight.
Weird.
And he kept driving. He would drive through the alley, and you hear him screeching around, and then he'd go back, and he'd go back to his garage, rev, 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 and then he'd go and kept doing it, and everyone's, like, yelling at him, and we're all going outside being like, and people are calling the cops because he wouldn't stop. He did this 2 separate times. He finally got arrested the second time.
Weird.
And
Was he high?
they think that well, it'd be hard drugs, if anything. 'Cause
Yeah.
if it was weed, you would not be doing that. You'd be very careful. No, he was intoxicated. He drank a lot, and they do believe he had other mental issues. Yeah.
Interesting.
But he owns his house. Like, he has a dog
Yeah.
and stuff. It was wild. Like, I remember that his neighbors were just like, buddy, stop it, blah, blah, like, just screaming at him. We're all, like, people that lived in the apartments actually came over across because it was so loud.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous. That was wild. That was entertaining, though.
Yeah.
And I remember the helicopter looking for
Yeah,
him.
every once in a while, we'll hear the police helicopter around our area.
I love when that happens. I'm like, who are they looking for?
It scares me, because I'm like, great, who are they searching for?
And then when the light goes on your house...
That happened to you? The spotlight went on your house?
Yeah, because they were looking for... Because he lived right like, behind us.
Oh, my goodness.
So they were looking for him because they couldn't find him for a while. And there was a house that went on fire that night, too.
What?
Yeah, that was right over... a little bit over... That was right by my house. Like, this house, a couple streets over, caught on fire. So they caught... And they found that because they were looking for that guy.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was wild.
That's eventful.
That was a good night.
This didn't happen to me, but it happened to some of my friends who live in the area too. Right next to us is Jackson Heights, which is which is nicer than where we live a little bit.
Jackson Heights is very nice.
It's nice. And so my friends told me this story. This is secondhand, but they were, I think, out walking or something, and they heard fireworks going off, and they're like, okay, this is kind of weird, but we hear fireworks here sometimes, you know.
It wasn't fireworks, was it?
Hold on. And I think they were going to drive through Jackson Heights.
Yeah.
But they couldn't. The police had sealed off Jackson Heights because they were looking for a man with a gun.
Oh my.
So there was a guy with a gun wandering around.
How long ago was this?
Year or two ago. Oh. Maybe 3? I can't remember. It was a while ago. Not too long ago, but...
Yeah. Within that time
frame. And so there was a guy wandering around Jackson Heights with a gun, and those fireworks were not fireworks.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh my gosh. If I hear a firework, I get really scared, but
so yeah.
We don't really deal with guns that much here.
No, thankfully not.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, there's a situation.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But you get that in any city, in any community.
Oh, yeah.
So
like, it's inevitable if you live in a city.
This might make the Calgarians a little angry. We're the capital, and you're not. So
but
suck it.
Everyone thinks they're the capital.
Everybody who's not from Alberta thinks that Calgary is the capital because they're bigger and they get a little more press. It's a lot nicer there, but we won't talk about that.
This isn't a topic right now that you're better than us. It is a beautiful city.
It is.
Yeah, so we are the capital. We have the legislature building, and it is so beautiful. We all go on a field trip there.
In grade
6, yeah. And
like everybody goes on to field trips to the ledge.
I'm pretty sure your dad's done it, because my mom had the same thing, like when they lived here. They did the same tour, but she said a lady threw keys to stand in that spot where you can hear the water. Mm-hmm. But for us, it's a metal thing that they had placed where you go and stand on it.
Now they have this little like metal dot on the floor where you go stand. Yeah. And you can like, it sounds like you're having a shower because the way the dome is in the building, it sounds like the indoor water fountain is like on top of you.
Oh man, and
so
I love
sound echoes.
I love how they deal with like the holiday season there. So beautiful. They do some concerts there, like
they have like choirs
and stuff. They have hot chocolate. The lights there are so beautiful. Just how they have the area and the skating rink. They
have a skating rink.
Yeah, and it has that path with all the lights and whatever.
So they decorate the ledge grounds with Christmas lights. And my family went last Christmas, and I forgot about this, but they play Christmas music on speakers all around.
Yeah, they do.
So it feels like you're in a movie.
It's awesome.
It feels like you're in a movie because it's like there's Christmas lights, there's people skating.
What's the other place? Candy Cane Lane.
I've never been to Candy Cane Lane.
I went there once, but I was like...
I think it's overrated.
It's not that good. It's just like houses that decorate.
That do
like...
mediocre decoration.
I mean, yeah. I don't remember it being that...
Really good.
Yeah.
I think it used to be better than what it is
And
now.
there's that other one that you drive through and it's just lights.
Oh, what was that called? The light thing. So
Yeah.
there's, I don't know what it was called.
But you
the light
pay, you
thing.
pay to
Was that
drive
Horlack?
through.
It was at Horlack Park.
Yeah, and you pay to just drive through and look at lights.
And so they had, there's like these huge light display things that would be
Yeah.
like giant candles made out of, I remember that. I vividly remember
There's
like giant
one of
candles.
like Santa and the thing
Yeah.
flashing. I don't know.
There's like these cool like light display things made out of Christmas lights
I
that,
think it's like $5 to get in or something.
yeah, and it was very popular. And now they canceled it for a very long time, but now I think they do something similar at the Castrol Raceway just outside of Edmonton.
Festival of Trees.
Festival of Trees, I went once. I was going through bad anxiety with my peanut allergy,
Aw.
and it wouldn't touch anything. It wasn't fun.
Yeah, I
would
went
go
there
again,
multiple
though.
times. It was really
You
fun.
didn't even get the cast on your finger.
I didn't get a cast on my finger for some reason.
Everyone did that. Did you do that? Yeah.
That was the time we went together.
Oh, right. I went multiple times, though. I remember, I don't know if anyone remembers Groovy Girls, those stuffed animal, they're not stuffed animals, they're stuffed girls. And I really, really liked them when I was a kid. And they had a tree of just
A
them.
Groovy Girl tree. That's funny.
I was so excited. I was like, yeah, it's the best thing ever. And they do that thing where they put the bubble over you.
Yeah, and you like blow.
Yeah, and then also you can write a letter to Santa.
Yeah.
I think they have a thing
I
where you
remember
can
I did
mail
that.
it to him.
Yeah, the bubble thing, because it's like this ring that goes around you, and
Yeah.
it's like soaked in bubble solution, and they pull it up over you,
Yeah.
and you're like surrounded in this bubble.
What building is that? Is that the...
I think that's at the Shaw Conference Center.
Is it at the show?
Do you not know? I don't know. It's been like 10 years since I've been,
I haven't been since probably junior high, so it's
but
been a
I want to
while.
go again. It's very festive.
I don't... Well, hopefully we can do
I
some
know.
stuff
Thanks,
this year.
Rona.
Winter can be pretty intense here. I remember the last time the winter was so bad. It was 2011.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. The snow built up so high.
I don't think we've had snow like that since then.
I don't think so.
Because our weather's changed.
It's become more humid here
Mm-hmm.
and more rainy, which I guess is with the humidity. But spring here is so ugly, like early spring.
Because it's
so
brown
slushy and gross.
slushy. Because in the winter, the city puts down the brown gravel on the road, and it gets dusty. Because when all the snow melts, there's all the gravel on the road,
Yeah.
and then we usually have some wind in the spring, and so then it just gets dusty.
It's
and
gross.
It's brown.
It's just wet, and gross,
wet
and
and-
slushy. It's the ugliest time of year. People,
don't
don't come here at this time.
No, April in Edmonton is not pretty.
My friend that lives in Vegas, she wanted to come in like the early spring or whatever. I'm like, no, you can't. She's like, that's when I have time off. I'm like, you cannot experience the city at this time. We all are like hate it.
We all
It's
hate
the
it.
worst time of year.
But summer and fall, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And early winter, I like
Early
it.
winter, like November, December, is great because it's Christmas. Everybody's
Yeah.
cheery. You know, everybody has
I
their
remember
Christmas
one
lights
year
up.
it didn't really snow.
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
there was barely any snow on
I
Christmas.
remember I was really concerned because this is what like a child is concerned about, that there would be no snow on Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, that's
Because there
what
was
you
like no
loved.
snow
Yeah.
all
I remember
before.
we had that and it was weird. It was like brown.
But then it did snow, I think, maybe an inch before Christmas, and I was so happy. I was
You're
like,
like,
it's a
"Thank
Christmas miracle.
You're like, Santa
Thank
Santa
you.
will know where we are. We have to put that glitter
The
the reindeer
the reindeer food. I remember that. Good
Yeah.
times.
Well, all three of us, we went to the same high school.
Oh,
Not
different-
together, but
Different times, and it's interesting because the school is drastically different from when Hailey you went to it,
and even when my sister went there, it's completely different from when she went versus when I did, which was 6
and from
years.
when I went. So Alicia went. What
She
year did
graduated in 2006.
I graduated 2020.
And I graduated 2012.
Woo!
2012. See, me and Alicia, I love that I was grade 12 in 2012. Like, come on.
That's pretty good.
That's what I like. I'm like, yo,
That's why I was excited about graduate. Because 2020 is a cool year to
that's
graduate.
a great year
And
to
then,
say class of 2020.
Class of
That's like
2020.
saying like class of 2000. That would have been so cool,
Yeah.
right?
but then
And
we
I'm
all
just
know
sitting
what
over here
happened. Then we all know what happened, and Miss Rona came and destroyed the world.
Yeah, we all went to Wagner. I think we all kind of took different kind of classes too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
I didn't take band or anything. I took band in
did.
junior high, but I didn't continue on.
I took band from grade 7 to grade 12. I didn't get to do grade 11 for very long. I was put on bed rest with my pregnancy. I think it was like November.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So you didn't get much.
Yeah, I didn't get to. Yeah. Oh yeah. 'Cause I can't remember exactly, but it was probably early November, mid-November. And so I had to homeschool. I actually didn't do social 20.
Oh, interesting.
And so when I did social 30, they just gave me 10 credits for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I didn't, they were like, well, yeah, you might as well just do that. So I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
So guys, just letting you know, if you miss out on some classes, you might be able to still go up to a higher class. Because even with band, I got 10 credits for it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's lucky. So me and Hailey, we went to the same junior high.
Yeah.
Otwell Junior High.
Allison, you're weird. And Alicia went there too.
And Alicia.
Yeah, that's why
Alina's
I went
sister.
there. Because
I'm
I
the
went...
one out.
Because I went to a private school in elementary for 4 years. I went to Mills Christian. It was private. I don't know if it still is.
I
Probably.
think it still is.
Yeah, so that's where I went for 4 years. You went to Jackson Heights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think I went to like Julie Kaniski for like 5 minutes.
So,
Yeah. And Mayo Kuman for a year.
Yeah.
Couldn't read and that just wasn't good. But yeah, we went to Otwell. My friend's dad actually went there too. It was kind of
Interesting.
cool, yeah.
I in Otwell was interesting. Wouldn't do it again.
I wouldn't relive school ever again.
I would never, especially grade 9 was a weird year because being at that age is just a weird time.
Your
And
body's changing.
everybody's life is
Yeah.
just so like you don't know like who you are at that time. You don't have
not at all.
Nobody has a sense of identity. Everybody's going through weird puberty stuff.
It's whatever trend is happening, you're kind of doing.
Yeah.
So when I was in junior high, everyone was scene kids or like emo.
Right.
And I remember I wasn't really a scene kid, but I wore tight pink like skinny jeans. And I felt so kind of awkward though because a lot of the style at the time was very bright colors with something dark or whatever, and I don't know, a lot of it was the colorful pants, and I just always felt so like, oh, don't look. And I was getting hips at the time too, so I was very self-conscious. I'm like, oh, like being in junior high is the worst.
Especially, yeah. Grade 9, man. I had some good friends that year. We had our own little group that we stayed far away from everybody else. We literally
gotta
had
do.
our own hallway to ourselves. There was 4 of us total. It was me.
Nobody's welcome here.
Yeah, pretty much. It was me, Jude, Roxanne, and Michaela. We all just hung out as a group in our own hallway that was completely empty.
Will you talk about how nice that area is, though?
In the school?
No, the Otwell area.
Oh, the Otwell community.
You're like, you know where I hung out? But I was just thinking about it. I'm like, that's
It's
such
nice.
a nice area of, like, the city.
It's
The
just
Otwell.
quiet. It's a quiet kind of little
There's
nook.
a lot of old people.
Yeah, it's a lot of old people, old houses.
Yeah.
Like bungalow style.
They're very nice, though. And then, what's down? There's
Kenilworth.
But there's Gold Bar Park. Is that far from there?
Not too far.
No. But I
There's-
love Gold Bar Park. That's a good place.
There's Kenilworth. So there's another junior high that's kind of across. It's in the next community over from Otwell,
I didn't even know that.
and we didn't get along. Let's just say I didn't do anything to them because I never saw them and I never took the bus. But it was the same bus that the Otwell kids and the Kenilworth kids took to certain places.
Yeah.
And I remember a few kids got suspended because as the bus was driving away, a few Otwell kids threw slushies at the Kenilworth kids.
No.
And I was like, yeah, we don't like Kenilworth, but we don't have to do that to
That's
them.
like that's
low.
far. Yeah,
that's low.
That's sad. I remember there's always a school you beef with because in high school Wagner's enemy was McNally. I don't know if it was when you were there.
We didn't
It was
really have
because
it.
of football.
Yeah,
It was-
Wagner football is a joke.
Yeah. So when I was in high school again, like their enemy was McNally. Was Paige one of their? I don't know.
Yes, that from when I was there.
Yeah.
It was we beefed more with Paige.
But everyone hated Paige like that too
Yeah.
because it
Ugh.
was the ghetto school.
It's not the ghetto school anymore.
It's not?
No.
What's the ghetto now?
I don't know. Because I don't know. I'm not
See,
in high school anymore.
It's so funny because my friend's son was trying to tell me that he's a couple of years younger than you. He was trying to tell me that oh no, he's like a year. How old is he? He's 2 years younger than you. Anyways, he was trying to tell me that Wagner had like 12 constables working there, and it was so scary and all this stuff. He was going to Page, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the school's way better." I'm like, "Okay, where are you hearing this?"
Wagner has one constable.
I think he even said there was a metal detector. I was like, "What?"
That's a lie. Constable Sorensen was a gem. He's so nice.
I loved the constable that was there when I went to high school. He was pretty chill.
I feel like constables have a duty to be chill. That's their job, is to be chill and break up fights.
Did you say that there was like some homeless guy that was...
So
you have to tell this story.
Maybe Wagner is the ghetto school. I don't know. So
it's in an industrial area. It's a really awkward area.
So yeah, it's in a weird... There's not really community anywhere near it.
Not really.
Not really. So I was sitting at my locker one morning, just doing my homework, chatting with my friend. I was doing chemistry, looking at my book. I was sitting on the ground, so I could kind of see through my peripherals, see people's, feet walking by and stuff. And then I was doing my work, and this guy with a one-wheeled bicycle with the front, I think it was the back wheel missing, walked into the bathroom that was right by me, and I was like, okay, it's just a construction worker, because they're doing tons of renovations at our school, so I'm used to seeing like rougher looking people around the hallway, so I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah. But they're doing the LRT there too.
Yeah, and they're doing the LRT, so there's construction people everywhere. And so I was like, okay. And then he came out, walked in front of me, I didn't even look at him, and I saw something drop. I heard it drop in front of me. And I was like, oh, what's this? And then I heard something rolling, and it was rolling towards me, and it was a phallus. It was a rubber phallus. He dropped it.
Oh my gosh.
In the middle of the hallway at a high school.
You are right now.
And it turns out this was a homeless man who got into our school and dropped a dildo.
Did he only do one? I thought he
So there was a rumor that he was going around and dropping a bunch, but it was only
one.
How
did he get all those then?
It was only the one.
Where did he even get the one?
And
I love that it was where you were though.
And me and my friend just looked at each other, speechless. I was
Wagner Tings.
I don't have words to describe how in shock I was.
That should be you should write a book about your life, but that should be a whole chapter.
That should be a whole chapter, man. It was. And then my friend Kristen, who's like a hallway over, I called her over. She's super funny. And we just could not stop laughing. We were late to class because we were.
I would be like, I'm not going to class.
Could not stop laughing. We were like taking photos and videos, and it was so funny. And then we're like, wait, what do we do? What are we supposed to do with this?
You don't touch it.
But don't touch it. And so I was like, I'm late to class. I'm going to class. But Kristen went to the office and told one of the assistant principals. The one assistant principal grabbed a paper towel and picked it up with the paper towel and threw it in the garbage.
I don't know why you would even do that. I would get gloves.
I
or
would
something.
Burn it.
Yeah.
Pour kerosene.
In Monster saying 2319.
Yeah,
with the
2319. Yeah.
That
just
dome thing and
incinerate
explode.
Yeah, that'd
be a
time.
Thing.
Also, Wagner had beef with Paige when I was in grade 11.
Really?
Yes. So some good.
I think somebody pooped in a backpack when I was in grade 10. And pooped into somebody's backpack.
That's funny.
Like a froshing
That's
thing.
funny.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It could have been a rumor, but I'm pretty sure that was... Anyways, what were you about Paige?
So, when I was in grade 11, we had... I don't know, the grade 12s had beef with the other grade 12s at Page. And they're like, hey, we gonna fight. And so
we're gonna fight.
Set up a fight at the nearby park, so it was off school property, but still, people are gonna see a fight of a bunch of grade 12s.
Why are high school
so stupid?
Why do they exist and think that they're important?
They're not. But so they're like, hey, we're gonna fight at this park, and so 40 kids from so 40 kids from Wagner went to this park. They all got in their cars. Like a bunch of 12-year-olds punching each other.
I would die. So I would love to watch that.
That would be so entertaining.
Junior hires be like, ah!
So, and they went, and I think it was 20 kids from Page went to this park too. and they started scrapping
I
so
kind of
bad.
like wish I saw it though.
It turned to be pretty serious, actually. So one Wagner kid had a bat and almost killed a guy.
Okay, so it was that kind of fight.
It was that kind of fight. I don't know how this started or why they were fighting.
Yeah.
It was grade 12s above me.
It's like two high school gangs. Like,
Probably.
relax. It's like have you heard of Dawson's Creek?
I've heard of it.
So Family Guy does this like joke about it, and it's kind of like being like, there's nothing more important than like everything that happens in these hallways, and the song's like, high school is a serious place, these problems matter. It's just like,
Those problems don't matter.
yeah.
Just an FYI.
Unless it's something outside of school. If it's really like, high school drama is so stupid.
Petty.
Yeah, I hate it. And we all just care too much. I'm like, we should all just not give a crap about anybody there.
Yeah.
Because you're just trapped in this building for 3 years together, but just stop caring about each other.
caring.
Stop picking on people.
Yeah. And also with the scrap at the park, not an Otwell kid. At the scrap at the park, a kid from Wagner had a BB gun, but he took the orange cap off of it, so it looked like a real gun. And so police were called. They had I think there was 10 police cars. From I heard, it could have been 4, but you know how rumors work,
Yeah,
right?
they're like, I've heard so many rumors.
I
about
heard
when
there
I
was
was
10
pregnant.
police cars.
Apparently, when I was pregnant, I gave birth to twins.
Yeah.
And all this stuff, or I had the kid at 24 weeks or something. Like,
Really?
Yeah, I heard so many different rumors.
That's
And
mean.
I gave birth to a boy and a girl, and I wanted to keep the girl. Like, there was all these.
That's
I'm like,
so mean. What the heck?
I'm like, who made up? Wait, I want to know who made this up. I want to meet this person and be like, how'd you create this?
I'll have a better story next time.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, and it was interesting, the beef, and then
Were you there when that happened?
No,
Because that would have been cool.
I heard about it the day after, because in my comm class, which is career and life management class, everybody has to do it. It's stupid. There's a few grade 12s who got expelled that were in that class, and they were gone that day.
Yeah.
And they had to explain this situation. But yeah, it got really serious because the kid who had the gun almost got shot because it looked like he had a real gun, but it was just a BB gun.
And what was he doing with it? Just
He was
swinging it
shooting the people. He was shooting the page kids with the BB gun.
around?
Was
this at that fight that
it
you're
was at
talking
that
about?
fight.
Oh, what an idiot!
And so I think 10 kids, maybe 12, got expelled.
I don't know who you are that did that.
You dumb.
I'm low-key, high-key judging you. Anyways, I'm like, all you people that took high school so seriously, and those beefs, I'm judging you.
Yeah.
I don't care. I am judging you.
Yeah. So that was my high school. I saw one fight. There was a few
I've
fights.
witnessed a few fights.
I saw one fight.
So much fun. I love when there's fights.
It's
was
always entertaining.
Yeah, I was in the cafeteria and these girls were fighting. First off, I thought they were joking at first
Right.
because they're like, F-U-B, swearing or whatever. But it sounded like, when girls talk, they're like, get in, loser, we're going shopping. And then all of a sudden they ran at each other and started scrapping, and the one girl's pulling her by her hair and punching her and stuff. It was wild. It was so
Girl fights, 10 times more scarier than guy fights.
I don't know, man. Men are scary.
But
high
girls,
school
they're
boys-
vicious.
Yeah.
They're claws out.
It's a whole nother level of ferocity.
It's different styles. Men are more punching and being like,
And girls are
"Rah!"
more pulling the hair.
Yeah,
They'll
because
go
they
for the
know.
hair, they'll go for the nails, they'll go for the face.
They go for
There's
the
no
boobs,
bound-
you
yeah,
know.
there's no boundaries.
You know that's gonna hurt. Okay, so now that we're on kind of a darker note of this, we can kind of talk about some serious things that's happened in Edmonton. So the Black Friday,
In 1987, there was a big tornado that hit Edmonton.
the east, was it southeast or just the east?
It was
side?
it was southeast. It's actually it's a 5-minute drive from where we're at right now.
Yeah,
So
in
it's
that
super
trailer
close
park area.
from where we are now. The reason why they call it Black Friday, because it was on a Friday, and the sky just turned super dark. That's what my parents told me from
Yeah.
stories I've heard.
There
The sky
was-
went super
How many
dark.
fatalities were there?
There was a lot, because it
Yeah.
did go through a trailer park. And,
Yeah.
trailer parks are tornado magnets.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of what you see, where the most damage happens, and it's usually on the outskirts of the
a
city.
But at the time, the Oilers were doing really well. But also the response after the tragedy was, quite good. Everybody came together and supported each other, gave people food and let people into their houses. And so that's why Edmonton was known for a while as the City of Champions.
I love that. I didn't realize that's what it was.
'Cause it was the sports factored into it, yes, because the Oilers were doing great in the 80s. But it was mostly because of, the emergency response after Black Friday, after the huge tornado.
I don't know if has there really been any other...
Not that I know of.
Weather. I know...
Not weather-related, but
No.
there was that terrorist attack.
The terrorist attack, and that was...
Shook everybody.
Well, because that's just something that we've never experienced
Because
here.
we're in Canada,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's not even that. Because there has been...
There's been incidents. But
Yeah,
they're in Ontario. They're in
Yeah,
Vancouver.
it's far away,
It's
so
far
we
away.
never were affected by it. And then it was something that happened in our own city. There was the guy, he drove, like...
I think he stabbed...
It was by the football stadium
Yeah,
or
he
whatever.
stabbed a officer.
He stabbed a cop, like, in the head or something. He survived, though.
I think so.
Yeah, no, he did, because he
Okay.
went to the Oilers game, and he got to present whatever.
And then this terrorist dude, I think he got into a U-Haul or some kind of big truck.
Was it the same guy?
Yeah, it was the same guy. He got into a big truck, U-Haul type thing, and, started going down sidewalks and going places where the truck should not be.
I don't think anybody died, though.
I can't remember.
I don't think there was any.
We've all kind of like blocked it out of our memory.
I remember going downtown the day after. Like, why did I do that?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to my friend's house, and I was on the way to his apartment, and it was just... The energy of downtown was so weird. It was just so quiet.
Yeah.
Like, it was, you could kind of just hear cars, but you couldn't hear people. Everyone was so quiet and on edge and stuff. Like, it was so weird. Like, we're lucky that it wasn't a huge attack that just killed a bunch of people. We're very lucky. But still, having something like that happen so close to us, realizing, whoa, like, this could happen to us.
Yeah. And
Like,
also,
that's wild.
when something happens like that, you don't know if it's going to happen again or if there's something else that happened.
Exactly.
So
Like,
that
something
was...
waiting to happen.
So that's why, the weeks after, everybody was really on edge about going out, or especially in the downtown area.
Yeah.
And it was just a somber moment for our city.
Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird experience to deal with, existing at that time.
Yeah.
Because you hear stories.
But they're in the States. They're in,
Yeah.
bigger cities like Vancouver and,
when
Toronto.
when there was that guy, the terrorist attack in Toronto, and the guy, like, shot people, that was really scary. But
Yeah.
again, it was far
Far
away.
away.
So you can dissociate
feel
a little.
detached.
Yeah, a little bit, right? It's
Detached
kind of when
from
you,
it.
like, watch a true crime story.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of disconnect that you can have. So it's like that weird. It's just, yeah.
It's interesting.
We know what we're saying.
Yeah. We have a few more, interesting tidbits about the tragedies of Edmonton
So one that had fatalities was the roller coaster.
at West Ed.
Yeah, in Galaxyland.
So the Mindbender roller coaster came off of its track, and I think it killed a few people. I don't know
Yeah.
what the numbers were, but I wasn't alive. That was in the 80s.
Yeah. I remember watching an interview of, like, some of the people that were there. It was just crazy to see. I'm like... And so I've always been scared of that ride for that very reason.
Yeah. I've been on it a few times, and the first time I went on it, that's why I was scared.
Yeah.
But now it's honestly probably one of the safest rides in the world, because every 60 minutes they close it and do test runs.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I've been to Galaxyland a few times with some friends, and we've wanted to go on the Mindbender, but no, it's closed for tests. And so every 60 minutes they close it, they run a train around it a few times to make sure everything is safe. Which, honestly, close it.
Yeah,
if it
do
means
it,
it's going to
yeah.
be super safe, close it.
That's all I care
don't
about. Yeah. And then the other thing that happened was the guy
On White Ave.
on White Ave that was putting
White
cars
Ave
on fire.
arsonist.
Yeah. So I know people that know him, so he did have a really rough upbringing from what I know, so it makes sense as to why, like, I don't condone what he did. I'm just glad that nobody really got hurt. But it explains a lot of, like, why he decided to just go to White Ave and set cars on fire.
Yeah.
Like, it was, watching it was so wild. Was it Hawaiian shirt guy or
And
something?
there's this guy, I think it was in, like, the Starbucks.
Yeah.
So this guy was in a Starbucks, saw these cars being lit on fire, and then the arsonist, I think, went into the Starbucks.
Yeah, he was trying to run away from
or
people.
something.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But then this guy, this kind of beefy guy in a Hawaiian shirt, absolutely decked the arsonist.
I want to know who this guy is.
He's just known as the Hawaiian shirt guy around here.
I would love to meet him and shake his hand.
He's kind of like a legend.
Yeah.
A myth, you know.
It's kind of like how the shirtless rollerblader guy, guitar guy, used to be a legend. Now people are like, ooh, stay away from him.
Yeah. So now we're kind of getting into a little more lighter topic. The shirtless rollerblading guitar guy has been seen around Edmonton for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. He's like when you know it's springtime.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's getting warm out. He would go around.
He's just literally a shirtless guy with rollerblades that would ride around the city playing his guitar and singing. It was legendary until there's allegations that he was sexually harassing and the people, and there
so
was some
it's kind
issues.
of ruined it. I don't know if I've really seen him now.
He's around.
Yeah.
He's just, I don't know.
But I've heard some serious allegations towards him, so I've stopped being excited over him. I'm going to take those things seriously, you know, so whatever.
It's kind of a disappointing end to something that could have been so cool.
because it was so iconic.
Because Sonic Radio had this thing where you could call in and
track him, right?
and see where his location was at, and they'd track him around the city and stuff. And it was a little fun, like hide and seek game.
That's a shame. That is such a shame.
We do have a super weird. We have tropical Hawaiian shirt guy.
But we do have
and we
Hawaiian
do
shirt
have
guy.
that guy. I don't know if he's still around, but he dresses like a fox, and he would just go around the city.
The local furry.
Yeah,
I've never seen him.
Like when I worked at Southgate, I would see him all the time, and he'd be on the LRT. There is somebody that does dress up like in furry costumes and walks around the city. It could be the same person.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's awesome to see. I think he was a unicorn once. It's downtown though. So.
Downtown. That explains downtown.
And you know the one thing I've noticed is there's this lady that she asks for money and stuff around the city, and I'll see her sometimes all the way south. And I've seen her downtown, like, she gets around the city. And I was like, yo, like, I've seen you before. Yeah. She's super nice. I'm just like, hey, what's up?
We've kind of alluded to it throughout this podcast, but West Edmonton Mall is kind of like the thing that Edmonton is unfortunately known for, is a mall.
A very outdated mall.
Outdated mall.
And even the Fantasyland Hotel is, like, super outdated.
Yeah, it's kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
Also, Allison Ann, Edmonton Ann, on TikTok, she makes really funny West Edmonton Mall TikTok videos. So.
If you really like to laugh at Edmonton, you should check her out.
Yeah, please.
Because it's really good. So...
So in West Ed, they have the Galaxyland amusement park, where there's a bunch of rides.
And
they have the water park, World Water Park.
Yeah.
And then there's the skating rink. There's a big skating rink.
Yeah.
And they have the sea lions.
Do they still have the sea lions?
Yeah. They used to be dolphins.
Yeah.
And then
they were penguins, weren't they?
They were penguins for a while.
There used to be flamingos that were in the middle of the mall, too.
Really?
Yeah, when I was younger.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like flamingos. Apparently they smell, though, from seeing them at zoos and stuff.
I don't think a lot of animals really smell delicious or good or beautiful.
That's true.
They don't smell like vanilla. Just like...
But... Yeah, West Ed is interesting. It's really far from where we live, so I don't go there.
I never go there.
But it's always a good time.
I like Southgate.
Southgate's chill. They have a really good food court. The food court at Southgate is so good because they have Chachi's and then Chachi's.
They have a poke place too. It's
What's
really
poke?
Good. It's the poke bowl. It's like with the raw fish and stuff. It's like a sushi
yummy.
bowl.
Sushi bowl. So there's a lot of Asian food there, and there's Chachi's has like a new restaurant. I think it's called like Dirt Bowl or something.
Yeah,
it's the same company and they're right next to each other.
Oh, and their drinks are really good.
Yeah. So Chachi's is like this meat sandwich place, and then Dirt Bowl is more this healthy living.
It's really good too. I've had it.
Like veggie bowls type stuff.
The thing about Edmonton, we have some questionable art.
We do have questionable art. Our public art person, if you're listening, which you're probably not, do a better job, please. You're not doing a good job. Why
did you think a pile of balls was art? For like where like, what?
So like, Google the talus balls if you don't know what we're talking about. You will be disappointed. Because it's literally a pile of silver balls in the river valley next to a highway where nobody can see it. But why not put it, in a park or...
It would make sense if it was in the middle of a park, but still...
But next to a freeway? No, thank you.
Yeah, so that's
That
embarrassing.
happened. But White Ave has some cool, like, street art murals.
I love it, yep.
The murals on White Ave, there's a big one of, like, this fox thing.
Yeah, right on that building right by C'est Sera or whatever. Yeah. That is the one thing I find that our community here is amazing. Yes. And even the music community as well.
Ruth B, she did the Peter Pan song. She went to McEwen and she sticks around Edmonton, I think.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have a local artist that has made it big. That's kind of neat.
I know a few Edmonton artists that do pretty well, have good music.
Yeah. I mean, Edmonton compared to Calgary is like the indie city.
Yeah. Well, Calgary's more like a white collar, we're blue collar. That's how it's put, because there's more like business people there and, like
we're an
richer
industry
people.
City. Yeah. We do oil, we do steel, we make things, and all that, like, so.
And they hire us.
Yeah. And so, like, the CEOs and, like, the corporates are all in Calgary, while all the, like, refineries and factories are up here in Edmonton. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how it works.
So I think we've covered a lot of stuff. There's probably so much that we've missed.
So, for a part 2, I think we're gonna do a part 2.
Probably have to, yeah.
We could do a whole one on West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah, we could do a whole one.
Oh, I know, seriously.
Thank you for listening to this week's podcast. We will see you next week. Next week, we're going to be talking all about Canada, so I'm super excited about that one.
Which we'll need a part 2 for that.
We're definitely going to need a part 2 for that. So, thank you for listening.
And remember, you can make fun of... Or... Remember, we can make fun of you, but you can't make fun of us.
'Cause we'll cry. See you next time.
Peace.